Now, when it comes to infrastructure, the city has increased its spending, notably in the last number of years on infrastructure after they will tell you years and years of neglect. Where do you want to see that? Does that need to go higher? If so, at what expense does that come? Where does the money come from?
So from what I understand, our investment, I guess we'll speak specifically to roads, and then we can kind of take it broader, is, we're investing about 1.8% in terms of, miles of repair versus total miles that, Bloomington has to cover. And, comparing that to how long those roads last, generally speaking, I think we need to be closer to a 2.5%, 3%, or even 4%. So certainly we need to invest more in roads and do it so in a smart fiscal manner. Obviously representing the west side, there have been complaints about, old sewer lines that I've heard, and so investing more in that. Obviously you have the the Locust Colton, I believe that's the, Locust Colton project. So, targeting those kind of infrastructure projects, where the money is going to come from, that's certainly a discussion that, we're going to have with other council members. But it certainly seems that this current council has made infrastructure a priority. I don't think we're going to see an eight-figure increase to that budget, but certainly, more money will be needed.
And do you suspect that that will have to come from other programs, or will that mean additional tax revenue?
Well, I'd certainly like to be able to keep everything as is, and so, with additional revenue streams that are coming in already, what you're hearing from council right now is a very strong revenue and getting new sources. So, I'm definitely not one to want to raise taxes at all or cut current programs, and so we'll have to analyze the data and the numbers, but so far what I'm seeing with the additional revenue streams, I think there's a good opportunity to put some of that money in infrastructure without having to take away from others.
How many more millions? Do you have a target in mind for how much the city should increase its investment?
I'm not one to put a specific number on it, because I think we should try and remain as flexible as possible, but I think right now we're around 8 million for roads and just public infrastructure. I'd certainly like to see that closer, I'd say closer to 10, but like I said, I want to maintain that flexibility, and more so than the actual number or figure, it's what are we doing with that, and trying to get more done with that money.
Does there need to be more balance in terms of areas of the city? You had suggested, Ward 6, as it will be constructed, has perhaps got some more aging infrastructure. Are you suggesting more of a shift toward those neighborhoods?
Well, in my view, it's simply where is that money most needed, and targeting it to those specific areas. If it happens to be more in Ward 6 than other wards, then so be it. But I'm going to represent Ward 6, but my vote still affects the entire city. So if there are aging infrastructure in other wards that need it more, then that investment needs to be made, because public infrastructure affects the entire community, not just specific to one ward.